Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's video is going to be a loadout for my Veto Pro Pack SC45. So several people have seen this in the background of my live videos and said, hey, can you do a loadout of your SC45? I'd be interested in seeing that. I haven't done one yet because I've kind of been working on it over the course of the last month and a half or so, adding a tool, taking away a tool, trying to figure out exactly how I want to use it. In my mind, I kind of wanted to make it a Ted Cook bag. If you've watched any of his videos, you know he opens up his truck, he gets out that little filled piece like meter pouch, and he carries that in. He's got very few tools in there, and he knocks out most of his jobs with that. So I've probably got a few more tools in here than a Ted Cook pouch, but that's kind of the idea behind this. There's a few things I'd like to put in here that I just can't really fit in here the way I want to. But the idea is I can carry this in for the jobs that I don't know what I'm going to get into, maybe just to go in and check and see something and then determine, do I need to go back out and get a bigger bag? Or if I'm crawling into a crawl space, going up into an attic, maybe I could clip this on my back as I'm crawling, get into that space, not carry a ton of tools down there. So that's kind of the idea behind this too. But again, this is the SC45 from Veto. This was the spring promotion item this year. It also comes with a pouch like this that you can run inside of here if you want to. I'm not using that for the purpose of how I'm intended to use it. I think it runs 90 bucks if you didn't get it for free. Maybe a little bit expensive, but you got to, again, consider you're getting a little tool pouch as well. But let's go ahead and go through the tools that I've got in here. I'll explain why I've got them in here, and then I'll explain some of the things I maybe would like to have in here, and maybe you guys can have some suggestions for that. But let's go ahead and check out my SC45. So we'll jump into what's on the inside. You're going to see some other tools out here. So I've got some that I've actually had in here, but I pulled out. I'll share with you why. And then I've also got some stuff that might be a better option to put in here than what I have in here. I just prefer to use some of the tools that are in here instead of those. So that's why I've got what I have in here now. Outside of the bag, again, I'm not running the pouch. I try not to put too much stuff on the outside of bags, especially something like this where I might be crawling in attics and crawl spaces. That's kind of the idea behind this. Just take a small amount of tools in a compact case. But out here on the outside, I do have the Sandtronics Model 3000 non-contact voltage tester. This is the always on. It has that light feature, but this one also has the sound. This is my favorite one by far. I just tuck it down in there. I don't use the clip right here because that spreads it out quite a bit, and I'm afraid that's going to end up breaking it. But friction fit wise, it kind of sits in here. Then I also keep the Olight i5R EOS. I purposely use this one because I can use it as a headlamp. So it's a nice light, pretty compact and small. You know, you can press the button back here on the back. But more than anything, if I'm going to be working with this, I kind of want to be able to be hands-free. And this one gives me that option to kind of put it on my hat, use it as a headlamp. So quick grab, test for voltage, and then also have a flashlight right there at the ready. Of course, you're going to open this up. So the way this opens, it snags like that, or you can rip apart, you know, that Velcro right there and then shut it back together, and then it catches back. So you can open it all the way like this if you want to work out of it. I'm going to leave it like that for the purpose, you know, of this video because you can see a little bit better. So over here on this side, I have a bit holder. This is one of the G-Vex Bredy. I can't remember exactly how you pronounce it. I cut some stuff off of it. It came with some hex key bits. I took those out, and then I just put kind of the most used in here. I got some Torx Phillips slotted, and then also I have a smaller Klein flip socket shaft right here. I'll get into that why here in just a minute. So basically I can put other bits in here as well. I just like how flat that is. That's why I'm using this one. And then I've got that on a Railer magnet. It's one of the smaller magnets. It fits in here fine. This also helps keep my bits kind of stuck in that spot instead of moving around inside of here. So whenever I open it, they're always in that same spot. But that also gives me a small spot, like if maybe I'm at an HVAC unit, I want to throw this on there, throw a couple screws on it. I can use this in that situation as well. And then I'm using the other, so this is the hex key version. It's got the metric and the SAE versions. This is actually how it came, except for I did cut off the little loop and then cut off the extra piece. But this is a set of hex keys. All the bits that I could use, I've got those in there as well. Then up inside of this like quilted area, I've got these over here because they're easier to pull out of this side than they are if you tuck them down into this side. So over here I have a pair of Cobras. You can actually fit a pair of 180 Cobras inside of here. That's my favorite size. my most used size. And the reason why I'm carrying a pair of Cobras instead of maybe a pliers wrench or something like that is because to me, you can get a lot more done with a Cobra. There's certain things that a plier wrench is definitely better for, but most things that I use a pliers wrench for, unless I'm worried about scratching it up, a Cobra is still going to be able to get that job done. So a pair of 180 Cobras, the fact that I could fit those in there, I was really excited about that. And then my only screwdriver that I'm carrying right now is the Klein ball grip screwdriver, because I can put anything I want to into it. And again, I am a big fan of the ball grip screwdriver. Pretty much 100% use Vessel ball grips, or now I use this one right here. This is one of those situations where I would be better off to use something like a bit holding screwdriver, 11-in-1 or something like that. And then I could probably get rid of, some of this stuff and then also have a screwdriver in there. That might be something I end up doing. We'll just have to see how it goes, but I just really prefer using a ball grip screwdriver, so that's why I do that. Inside of here, I have a Vessel double-sided bit with a Phillips and a slotted. Those are the two main things I'm going to use all the time, so I could use this Vessel, or I could come over here and use this Annex. This Annex is actually a little bit shorter. I could put that one in there as well if I want to run that. Basically, that short bit height allows me to fit this in here. If I use the original one that came with it, like the Klein version, so this is the bit holder, or the bit that came with it. If I slide that in there, that ends up making it too tall. You can't use it. So double duty, I get a slotted and a Phillips. So most of the time I can pull this screwdriver out and never even get out these bits, because that's what I'm going to run most of the time. The Annex is the shortest of the bunch. The Vessel gets you a little bit longer, but both those work out pretty well. Now, if we flip on over to the other side, this is where I am carrying kind of some other stuff that's going to work with the ball handle screwdriver. And I also have a pair of diagonals in here as well. These are the Milwaukee USA versions. I think these are like the 7-inch. And the only reason why I'm running these, it's not that I necessarily prefer them. They are actually pretty good. This is the only pair of this small of diagonals I have. And these are the only ones that will fit inside of this. All my other ones are a little bit too big. They end up sticking out. So that's why I'm carrying those. So essentially, if I need to grab something and break it free, do something along those lines, I need a pair of pliers. I've got the Cobras. If I need to cut something, snip something, whatever it might be, I've got the Milwaukee diagonals. And then if I need a fastener or whatever it might be, I've got the Klein ball grip screwdriver with the bits over here. And then that also gets me into these. I've got a flip socket kind of tucked down into the sides on both sides. I have the SAE version with the 9/16. And then I also have that metric version right here. So essentially I got two nut driver sets, magnetic nut drivers. I could also use this for a longer shaft and put any of those bits in it out of this set right here inside of that. So I have those. And then I also inside of here have a bit holder from DeWalt, a locking bit holder with the very little small ratchet in it. So I could use it in this way. I could take this out. I could do this. Now I've got a small ratchet. I can take this little flip socket shaft, put that in there, put this 1/4 inch on there. And now I've kind of got a ratchet that I can use out of this set for a right angle in case I need to get into a little bit tighter spot. But I can also take this out and just put a bit in here if I want to and use it like that. So essentially, again, this gives me a ratchet to use my ball handle, or I can take out this altogether and just use this bit holder and use any of these bits that I've got inside of here as well, whether it's the hex key bits, the driver bits, whatever it is, slide those down in there. Now I can put any bit I want to into the ball handle screwdriver. And then in the certain situations, because originally I had thought about putting these Makitas in there because I could use those with that Vera ratchet as well if I brought in this little piece right here. But I decided instead, most of the time I'm dealing with these sizes. So now that I've got the flip sockets, I've got magnetic nut drivers. But with this one right here, Klein Tools little box wrench or quad wrench, this one's got 5/16, 7/16, 1/4 inch, and 3/8. Would be nice if I had the 1/2 inch probably, but that's on the bigger size. But that actually fits in here pretty well, so that's why I've got that one in there. So again, basically I have every way to put a magnetic nut driver, a 1-inch bit, a flip socket, let's see, a hex key or whatever else into this ball grip screwdriver. I've got some diagonals to cut some stuff. I've got some Cobras as far as a pair of pliers. I've got a non-contact voltage tester to detect for electricity. And then I got a flashlight in case I'm working in the dark. Again, a few things that I did have in here to start. I thought, well, with this one, I've got the ratchet, I've got some bits, I've got some sockets, I've got a little screwdriver. I originally kind of had this tucked in here for the longest time, but I just always feel like this just takes up too much room and real estate because I can't fit a ton of bits inside of here. I couldn't fit like all my hex key bits along with the driver bits. So that's kind of why I decided to get away from this. And then again, I started thinking I'm going to run these. I decided I like magnetic nut drivers a little bit better. And then I can also put the flip sockets like directly in my screwdrivers and all that kind of stuff. I feel like they work out a little bit better. The one thing that I feel like I am missing and would be nice would be if I could get a meter of some kind. I thought about using this little Kaiweets tester. So this one's a non-contact voltage tester. So I could replace this and get rid of that. And then this one also has leads that you can put in here and actually test for voltage and see what kind of voltage, AC and DC. And the actual tester itself fits in here great because I was going to run it like this, ball handle right there. All that other stuff's going to fit in there exactly the same as the way that I had it. It's trying to fit these in there. That's the biggest problem. So again, I'm probably going to end up taking my fluke meter in with me anyways if I think I'm going to get into needing to test electrical, just because it's what I prefer to use. So instead, I just decided I'm going to stick with the non-contact voltage tester right there. Use that. And again, I typically know if I'm going to get into some kind of job where I'm going to need a meter. So if that's the case, I'll grab it and take it with me. I really wish I didn't have to carry two things though. But I just don't see any way to fit a good meter inside of this case right here. You know, Ted Cook's field piece thing is actually built for a meter. This thing's a little bit short to put any kind of like standard type meter in. So that's why I'm kind of sticking with this. But overall, I feel like I got most of the bases covered. But there you go, guys. There is my loadout for the Veto Pro Pack SC45. I think I could get most things, in all honesty, done with this, other than not having a meter with me for diagnostic type stuff. That's kind of the only place where this has fallen short. And if it wasn't for trying to wad up the leads and stick them in there, I think I could make that happen with that little Kaiweets right there. But I think it's a really good pouch, a good option to be able to do that with. I mean, I can carry this in with one hand, and if I want to, I could even clip this on my belt and walk around someone's house with it or whatever I want to do as well. So that's my loadout. Let me know if you've got any questions. Also, let me know if you got any suggestions as well. As always, I hope this video was interesting. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.